So we'll move to our first session this morning, looking at the Barley Fungicide Timings with our partner UPL. Just to kick off some discussion, I will share my screen and you will be able to see a slide. So everyone can see my slide there?
Yeah.
So Clay and Sean, would you like to just give a quick summary of the video?
Sure. Well, good morning again, everybody. So I'll just give a quick background to what we've been doing with Southern, or what UPL has been doing with Southern Farming Systems this season. So UPL have been working on a new broad spectrum fungicide for wheat and barley over the last few seasons. And it's currently with the APVMA going through the registration process. So this season we've been doing some trial work, essentially some demonstration trial work. This particular trial we had in Inverleigh was on barley. So just a bit more background on the product. So it's a new formulation of prothioconazole and azoxystrobin in a easy to use SC formulation. Obviously that can give very good compatibility and good crop safety. So the aim of this trial was to look at fungicide timings and what the difference is between, you know, split applications and, you know, one full application against sort of the industry standards that are used currently. Sean, did you have anything else to mention?
That's pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Clay. I think that yeah, and also there's a bit of an update there on timings with the dissecting the wheat plant, which Gina did. But yeah, from our point of view, that was pretty much what we wanted to cover off.
Yeah.
Here we go. Stopped sharing that screen. So anyone got any questions that have come from the video in the room? So I'll move to my questions. So prevention of fungicide diseases in our crop relies on timing and the applications at key growth stages. But what other environmental conditions are best for the application of fungicides?
Well, I guess there's a few conditions you need to be aware of. So obviously wind is a factor. So I guess the optimum conditions for wind is between 5 and 15 kilometres an hour, just to prevent those inversion layers. Temperature is another one. So ideally with fungicides, you shouldn't be applying over 30 degrees, but you know, you wouldn't be getting those issues in southern Victoria at the moment. Your evaporation, or delta T, that's another important factor to consider. Rainfall as well. So essentially, you know, a lot of fungicide labels don't stipulate the rain fastest, but I think it's about a minimum of 6 hours before a rainfall event. And probably another one, I guess, would be your crop canopy size. So that'll determine your nozzle selection and water rate type thing. Not sure if anyone else had any other ones to add.
Gina, did you have anything to add?
I was just going to say that the other thing to consider is how much disease there is. So if it has been really wet, particularly this year in barley, that might warrant the need for a fungicide more than other environmental times, I suppose.
Yeah. So which application timing suits Uplift, and what combinations of product give the most desired outcomes?
Well, in this trial at Inverleigh, so obviously we had we had one treatment of Uplift was a split application, so essentially the half rate at GS32 and GS49 timings, and then we had a full rate of Uplift, which is the 525 mil per hectare at GS32. So in this particular trial, the efficacy results showed the split application was a bit more efficacious. But in terms of sort of benefits from split applications, I guess, it gives the farmer more flexibility in terms of there's, frost event, there's drought conditions, the cost or economics of the product as well is another point, the yield potential of the crop, etc. Yeah, they are the ones I thought. I don't know if anyone else had any points as well. But yeah, it just gives a bit more flexibility.
Scott, you've got a question?
Yes, Clay, and I mean, again, it's one thing that we're facing very much this year, yet again in Western Victoria, that without growers being proactive about their fungicide programs, and because there's so few days when they can be applied in windy and very occasionally wet, but nearly always windy conditions, it's interesting to me to look around a few sites yesterday that certainly, if anything without any fungicides on has fallen off a cliff this week.
Yeah.
And it was always going to happen. And the interesting thing about Western Victoria is it always does happen. And if you're not really proactive about getting on early, you do fall off a cliff, even if you manage to get on after you've fallen off the cliff.
Yeah. Right.
And that's why I think the split timing is a very strong management option, because at least it gives you some reassurance that you are going to be travelling a little bit if you can't get on to get the fungicide on. And that's, you mention that to people on the other side of the divide in Australia, and they think you've got three heads. They can't understand that concept at all.
Yeah.
But that's certainly our biggest challenge down here. And I'm meant to be retired and been out for 5 years, and I've seen all the same things I always saw with this particular season. So it's great to have a new product coming along with a mix of activity, but I think essentially our message is still the same. We've just got to be proactive, not reactive.
That's right.
Yep.
So what benefits does Uplift fungicide have over other foliar fungicides for wheat and barley?
The benefits, I guess, so this Uplift has an SC formulation, so typically SCs are a little bit softer on the crop compared to your EC formulation, so that's one benefit. Another benefit is it's a fully loaded formulation, so it's going to deliver the full rate of azoxystrobin and prothioconazole to the crop for optimum disease control.
And
sorry.
Go, Nick.
What about withholding periods? Worst case scenario, frost takes out the wheat, you've got to cut for hay.
Yeah, that is a good question. I haven't actually got the label in front of me, but I'll certainly follow that one up for you and get back to you if that's all right. But it would be the thing with these fungicides. It will be typically like your Prosaro and Amistar extra label, similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the final label hasn't been finalised yet, obviously, because it's going through the regulator. So
yeah.
Sure
enough. Thank you.
And what registrations are planned in the future for Uplift?
Well, obviously the first lot of registrations will be in wheat and barley. So if all goes well, and you guys are pretty well aware of the APVMA and their time restraints, but we're expecting registration wheat and barley in obviously next year. Now, UPL's also been working on, we're also working on canola as well. So obviously your diseases like sclerotinia and blackleg, and there is a possibility of doing some other work in oats as well. But yeah, we're certainly looking to extend the label.
And will an adjuvant be recommended to use with Uplift?
At the moment, as per the label, there won't be a recommendation, but prior to us launching this product, we will be doing a lot of compatibility work. So obviously we'll be looking at adjuvants as well. So, yeah.
There's also a question and rate variations with the adjuvants as well. Will that be looked at?
Yes, yeah.
Anyone else in the room got any questions for UPL? That might just pull us up there. If you think of anything, yeah, just drop it in the chat box.